If you all are, welcome everybody. I'm Kniggendorf. I'm a writer and editor here at the library. We're so glad that you chose to be here with us tonight. And we're streaming this event on our YouTube channel, so we're also glad for all those people watching from elsewhere. If you parked in the library's garage tonight, you've noticed that we have a new system. I don't think that escaped anybody's attention, right? Just making sure. It's something, oh no, go ahead, please. It's something, we're all acclimating to the garage, but we think it's gonna be pretty great once we're all used to it. Tonight we're here to talk about mushrooms. This fall, I will have been at the library for 5 years, and every spring during those years, I think that we should do an event for people who are interested in hunting mushrooms. And every year, we forget until it's too late. So I'm really happy that this year we finally managed to remember. And here you all are also interested in that topic, so that's exciting. At about our quarter till, we'll stop and take questions from all of you so that we don't leave out anything important. And when you have a question after the event, not right now, you'll be able to come up to the microphone and ask there. And you'll see when it's time. I'll let you know. So many years ago, when I was interested in understanding how to find morels specifically, I wrote an article for The Pitch, and I interviewed Russ and Maxine, and I'm really glad that they're here to talk to us all and share their knowledge with us tonight. Maxine Stone is the past president of and an instructor with the Missouri Mycological Society. She's a master gardener, a member of the North American Mycological Society, and the author of Missouri's Wild Mushrooms. She's been kind enough to bring copies of that book to sell in the lobby tonight, or actually in the back of the room, if you have cash or a check. And you can look for her after the event. A lot of you already talked to her, I know. Representing Kansas mushroom hunting, we have Russ Davenport. He's a longtime member of the Kaw Valley Mycological Society, which he joined after finding some interesting looking mushrooms in his yard in Hartford, Kansas. Since then, he says he's picked close to 150 pounds of morel mushrooms. I don't even know how that's possible because they weigh nothing. Mostly from the Hartford, Kansas recreation area just east of town in the Flint Hills Wildlife Refuge. He sometimes leads forays and thinks of himself as living in morel heaven, he says. He also hunts deer to store for food, and like Maxine, he's an avid gardener, putting up 80 to 100 quarts of produce from his garden each year. Please welcome them to the Kansas City Public Library. Thank you both for making the trip here today. From what I can tell, people have really strong reactions for and against mushrooms. So if you would start by just telling us how you each got interested in looking for them and eating them and your involvement.
Who goes first?
After you, please.
However you want.
So I have been hunting mushrooms for a long time. Is this on? Yeah, I can tell it's on. And the way I got interested is I have been a hiker, and I knew flowers, and I knew wildflowers and trees, and I knew things in the woods, not insects as much, except for ticks. But I'd see these gorgeous mushrooms, and I thought, I need to find out more about mushrooms. So, you know, I got some books, and I studied up a little bit, but there's no way to really learn about mushrooms from books, even though I have a book back there. So I found out that there was something called the Missouri Mycological Society. Are any of you members? Oh,
Cool.
who are you? Yeah.
I'm Bob Ogle.
Bob who?
Ogle.
Ogle, and who are you? What's your name?
Sarah.
Sarah? Cool. And so you go out on forays with the Kansas City chapter?
I have like once or twice.
All right. There's a chapter of Missouri Mycological Society. I'm sorry, I'm going to do a couple of plugs here. In Kansas, it's a great chapter, wonderful people. I thought some of my buddies would be here, but they're not. Maybe they don't live close by. And so I would suggest you all look up Missouri Mycological Society and look at our website. And if it interests you to join the Kansas City chapter, do. So that's how I got it. That's how I got interested. Once I joined the club, I just zoomed along. And I didn't know much about morels. Here's the morel guy. I didn't know much about morels except we had this one incredible morel hunter. So I used to go out with him. I'm not a good morel hunter, so he's going to tell you all about that. And so that's about all.
I like to eat. And yeah, these little kind of blue-green mushrooms all popped on the side of this house we just moved into from Austin, Texas. So I live in Hartford, Kansas, which is near Emporia, down the road about 90 miles. And so I called the biologist at my wife's university. My wife works at the universities. And I asked him, who do I talk to? And he said, yeah, in my case, the Kaw Valley Mycological Society out of Lawrence. And I got to know Skip and Sherry Kay and a few. Dean Abel, I believe, wrote the book, which is the Kaw Valley, the Kansas Guide to Mushroom Hunting. And then I met a farmer while I was waiting to get in touch with him because it was morel season. And I said, hey, I hear people hunt these mushrooms called morels. He said, oh, yeah. And I'm like, where are they at? And he's like, oh, just go out in the refuge right there. You know, wear boots. When it's muddy, it's good. And he said, you just basically go and just take a line, old trail, and walk down it about 100 feet. And when you find one, turn around and get the 10 that you missed.
It's true.
That was good advice.
So this sounds like a hobby that keeps you interested because there just keeps being more and more to learn. Is that right?
I would say not only more and more to learn because all the names are changing because of DNA testing. So yes, a lot to learn, but you know, book learning and brain learning, the fun part, honestly, is going out on a foray and finding edibles, which I know a lot of edibles, and other mushrooms that aren't just edible. It's just fun to identify what's out there. And meanwhile, you're out in the woods having a good time on a nice day.
Couldn't agree more. I call it my Tai Chiing. Because what I learned after going out for a couple of years is all the mistakes one makes by not being prepared. So I'll show you a little something here later, my bag of goodies, that you want to kind of plan your trip. And it's great to contact either of these societies we're talking about. They will typically have 5 or 6 forays a year and take you to a pretty good spot. They're the experts, really, although we're all amateurs, technically. And just a great group, I'm sure, in both of the clubs.
Yep.
Yep.
So, but mainly we will want to talk about foraging because I thought that would be that was my dream anyway, to learn from experts so that I can go and find something this year because
Absolutely.
usually I cannot. But before we get going with that, Maxine was very clear that we need to talk about this first. Maxine, tell us how not to die in the woods.
I will do that. People often will say, oh, I don't know about mushrooms. I would probably poison myself. Well, that's not true because there are very few deadly mushrooms in Missouri. I can think of 2, and I've shown you one, and because the other one you're not going to eat anyway because it's just this little LBM, little brown mushroom. This is called the destroying angel. And I'm telling you, it is deadly.
Where would we run into one?
Well, I will get there.
Pardon me.
Did you ask that?
I did.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So they are common. You can find these in the woods. You can find these sometimes in weird places like your backyard.
Parks.
Parks.
City parks.
Yeah. And so the thing is, I don't have a pointer, but you can see the cap, the gills, which are the striated little things under the cap. The stem, there is a ring up top, and a cup, pure white, pure white. They are pure white. Don't eat a pure white mushroom, or else you'll probably lose your liver. And I don't think you want to do that. As far as, if you know that, you're probably pretty safe. There are a couple others. There are a few that'll make you sick, but this will kill you.
Okay. So we have some that I always get them popping up in my yard. Oops.
Oh, yeah.
Where did that? Not that. This one. Look. We're that. So what is this? Is this that? The green spored lepiota? Aside from the face that's on it? Because that looks about the same to me.
Yeah, it is.
So this is one that will make you sick but not kill you, right?
That's right. And I think you've all seen this. They come up after a rain all summer into the fall, and they can go back to one so I can show.
Oops. There.
And so look, I mean, you thought this was the destroying angel. You sent me 2 pictures of white mushrooms, but look at that. It's really not all white. When you're picking and eating mushrooms, you have to look at all the little features. And the ring is different. The stem is not pure white. It doesn't have that cup, which I didn't really point out too well. And it's got those little pieces on the top that are kind of brownish. When you've seen these, sometimes they can be in a fairy ring, which is a pretty magical thing. They grow in a fairy ring. They start in the center, and their nutrition is taking them out into a ring. And that's pretty magical. And they aren't always in a fairy ring, but if you're riding by and you see something that is a really big mushroom, it's probably a big white looking with the little things on the top. It's probably this one. All right, so this won't kill you. You might wish you were dead, but it won't. You get real stomach issues and other issues. Your body is trying to purge. You might even get so sick that you go to the hospital and you say, what? Because you didn't remember eating it. And they'll pump your stomach, and that's no fun. Don't eat this one either, okay? It's called green spored lepiota. And the reason for that is, even in that picture, those gills are turning a little bit. They're not pure white. And as it gets older, the spores in those gills are green, and it gets gray and then green and then greener and greener. So,
Okay.
don't eat it.
So are there any, I also have this one that pops up in my yard. Although all the mushrooms that pop up in my yard end up with little faces on them, or like spaceships. So is anything likely to pop up in my yard that I can eat?
Oh, yeah.
Yes?
And I'm looking at this little black-eyed, two-eared thing that pops up.
Yes, don't eat that. But that's not a...
In every picture?
There are only 2 pictures. He's just very interested in mushrooms also, and see, he's so alarmed at this one. But is that probably a green spored lepiota also?
Probably.
Looks like.
Okay.
Sometimes it's hard to tell just from one picture like that. But
Sure.
yeah, it looks like it could be.
Okay, and is there a rule of thumb, like for the ones that aren't going to be safe to eat?
Sorry.
No rule of thumb, you just have to know?
You have to know. That's why I told you about the first one.
The all white.
Know that mushroom.
Okay.
Everything else is either edible, not edible, which means it might taste like wood, or it might be bitter that you spit it out, or or make you sick, and 1 or 2 poisonous.
Okay. Okay, so one book I recently read about mushrooms put Kansas, Nebraska, and the Dakotas in a different mushroom zone. I guess there's such a thing. Okay, you don't know, you're shrugging. But different from Missouri and other states slightly to the east. Russ, so you've done a lot of mushroom hunting in Kansas.
Yeah.
Is there any other poisonous or just nasty ones that you want to mention?
Well, not really, because like the Amanita muscaria.
Well, you don't have that in Kansas.
Well, but you can find them all around the world, and in some places, I'm using it as an example.
Yeah, but I know.
It'll be poisonous, and in other places, the same species won't be.
Okay.
So it's best to go through a local club or a good source before
There
you eat any
are other
mushroom.
poisonous mushrooms.
Sure.
I'm talking about Missouri, and Kansas and Missouri, and
We're pretty close.
they're all
Sure.
pretty much. I don't know
Okay.
where you saw that line, but I'd say
I don't know
that.
either, but I could find it again. Okay, so we mainly wanted to talk about morels, and I see now that I've gotten out of order. But here are the morels. And how many people here heard about this event, and that was the thing you thought was, oh, I want to learn how to find the morels? Yeah, quite a few. Okay, that was my idea too. So who has already tried to look for them and failed?
Hey.
Okay.
And failed? How many have had success?
Yeah, success.
Had success, yay! Okay, that's great. And I feel like I hadn't really heard a whole lot about them until maybe 10 years ago, and it could just be when I started paying attention. I don't know, but it seemed like suddenly they were everywhere. Was there the idea of them, not that the actual mushrooms are popping up everywhere, excuse me. But was there some sort of increase in popularity in the past 10 or 15 years? Something like that? You think so?
Increase in popularity, not just for morels, but for mushrooms.
Oh, you think so?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
And there are articles all over the place, and I like to say, mushrooms are mushrooming.
Oh, that's catchy. Okay, and that would have been also around the same time you started noticing them and thinking about them too.
Yeah,
So, okay.
I had never seen a morel till I moved to Kansas.
Huh, okay. Well, I had gone out a few times looking on my own and didn't find any. But then last year, very strangely, I had about 7 pop up behind my recycling and trash bin in my driveway. And I was very, very surprised by that. And of course, did a lot of Googling and sending them to everyone I knew saying, is this really, like, am I seeing this? This is very strange. So is it normal for them to just suddenly appear? Is that
Who's going
strange?
to answer that?
Either one of you.
I will say that I've had friends with backyards where they got the wood chips installed, and about 6 months later, big rain hits, and they
Yeah.
just have 50 morels right there.
That's amazing.
And then other stuff as well can come up that way, so, yeah.
But they do like, not that you're going to hunt there, disturbed areas.
Yeah.
And they do like certain trees. You can talk about trees?
Oh, we can.
We can get to trees.
Yeah, because there are certain trees that
Yeah.
they're symbiotic with, yeah.
Yeah. Well, what do you think makes this particular mushroom so popular? Is it just because it seems hard to find, or what is it? Is it the taste? Because I know that they're not your number one, Maxine. We'll get to your others. We'll get to your number one.
I think the world, Marcella escalente all around the world has been picked forever and ever. It's an easy and very different from other mushrooms as far as the way it looks. So it's not hard to misidentify. And I personally think that Easter egg hunting might have had something to do with picking morels a long time ago. But just that's my theory.
Yeah, that could be. Well, Maxine's book, which she has back there, as I mentioned, if you have cash or a check, that's a really good guide. I've been all through her book, and it's a lot about the basics for getting started, looking for any variety. But Russ, will you just tell us how people can get started, in particular looking for morels, if they've never done it before or they stink at it and they want to get better? What do they do first? How do you know even where to start looking and when?
Well, again, I wouldn't call myself an expert. I just got lucky and moved to a place where they are prolific right outside my back door, literally. So,
Please. Oh, God.
yeah. And so every year I do take my bag. Can I show them my bag yet?
Please.
Oh, okay, cool. So main thing is as my wife learned, you don't wear heels.
Oh, God.
Good waterproof shoes if it's really muddy, which is usually when it's going to be pretty good hunting, but in my background past hunting, morels is usually really great about 2 or 3 days after that big rain, and it's dried up enough. You can go out in something like this, but you just got to be able to step around a lot of water and things like that.
But late March, early April?
Yeah, I
Okay.
found them as early as late March, but right now, and going through the next 4 to 5 weeks is going to be, from my area, where it's always great. Now, some years I'll be looking online and they've already found them for 3 weeks just over here, or over in Missouri, and then we get them a week or 2 later. I don't know if that's because we're a little more arid or dry, or if it's just the rain cycle. But when you do go out, a lot of people talk about taking and using the fish net type of bag. If you start finding a lot of them, they kind of start squeezing through the holes in the bag, and the idea is you're spreading spores as you're carrying your bag around. I tried that, didn't like it, so what I use
I don't like it either.
is a standard, nice, simple paper bag, not a plastic bag, because they'll get gooey, but these let the morels breathe. You open them up, and I line the bottom of my pack with these, and then I just shove them down in here like this, and as I get them. When you pick a morel, you can do it by hand if you know how to feel down onto the stem. The entire mushroom tastes the same, so get as much as you can, but you don't want the part in the dirt. Some people will take a knife, and they'll just cut it right at the bottom. Near the ground. What I will do is I'll reach down until, as you pinch the hollow stem, it's flexible. It's almost like rubber. And then when you get to the bottom where it's the right spot, it starts to get firm again. And so I pinch it off right there. And don't try to get the part in the mud. Another good tip is when you get it up, brush it off. Just clean it up a little bit. I will take it and just rub it against a tree to get a thing of mud or whatever that's stuck on it.
Does that knock the spores out too?
Yeah, right.
Okay,
You're also
so that's what
spreading
you
spores.
want, okay.
Yeah, when you handle them or when the deer run over them, you know, they blow up and they get, the spores get out real easy. But when you put it in the bag clean, then when you get home, it's a lot less work cleaning them up, because you don't want to wash a morel. You want to brush it. And I think that's probably, would that be the same for most edibles? You don't want to ever wash them, do you, Maxine?
Yeah, the only time I wash a mushroom is when it's dirty.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And morels typically will be, from you see in the picture, you just reach down below into below the line of leaves and until you just find the bottom and then pinch it up. Then the next thing, of course, in the bag is, this is my most important tool. You gotta have a big hat. The reason for the hat is when, oh, I got hooked from my chair there. Am I clear? When you're walking around and you're moving, you're gonna hit sticks. There's trees that have limbs hanging down everywhere, and you're like looking down at the ground, and so when you're hunting, you're not really looking where you're going sometimes. And so the 2 times I've had my biggest injury was getting a stick in the eye. Morel hunting. Now, you know, poke in the eye, I was able to get it fixed and healed up okay, but that's another thing. So this brim on this hat will stop you from getting a hit in the eye or the ear. So at least a good baseball cap, I suggest. Good shoes, of course, we already talked about. And then what happens is you get out there and you start finding them, and the sun's setting. But man, you're in it. You got the pile. And so you want to make real sure, just in case, that you have, you know where you're at, and have a light where you can get home after you pick them all. And then, of course, you know, your standard stuff, tissues. If you want to cut the morel, especially when they get larger, it's easier to cut them instead of trying to hand pick them. And so I will take a knife that goes in the bag, and you can just, again, slice down kind of close to the base. And so that's pretty much, I think, the most important things that I like to carry. I also, when I have my car keys, I made this mistake once, put them in a pocket. and they jumped out when I was messing with them. And so I like to use a good kit, a bag, and then when I get there, the first thing I do when I lock the car is I take these guys, put them in here, and I zip that pocket up, and that's the only thing that goes in that pocket where I can always get to my car. So that's kind of it.
Okay,
Yeah.
and I think
Can
it
I
was,
say-
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, Maxine.
Can I say a few more things about
absolutely.
morels?
By all
We'll
means.
stay on morels for a bit.
Okay.
First of all, I carry a basket. And the same thing happens, the spores can go out from the basket, and I cut. Either way is fine. But someone asked, well, where do I find morels? Well, I can give you a few hints. They love dying elms. They love dying elms. Now, we don't have so many anymore because in the 70s, people were just taking bags and bags of morels out of the woods because of Dutch elm disease. It's not that way anymore. You really have to search. So they like dying elms. They like ash. We're losing ash also because of the emerald ash borer. They like hawthorn, not hawthorn. What's the one with the white bark? It peels off what? I can't.
Birch or sycamore?
Sycamore. They like sycamore.
Cottonwoods.
Cottonwoods.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, if you're in an oak forest, which is what we mainly have here, your chances of finding morels, you still can because they don't listen, they don't read the books. They don't listen to me. They come up where they come up. But you might want to find a place that has some of those dying elms and some of those ash trees. And the problem, of course, is that this is April and the leaves aren't out yet. So then you have to learn the bark, right? And you can. I mean, you can learn the bark of the elms and the ash and the sycamores. And so let's see, there was one other thing I was going to say about finding them.
Sides of rivers are really a good spot
Yes. Bottomland near rivers.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
to go. And the area where I hunt in Hartford is surrounded by the Flint Hills Wildlife Refuge, which is a federal refuge. It's open to the public. If you were to drive to my town, you just drive right over our little dam that we have there, whatever they call it, the levee protection for our town that they put in. And then other side there, you're 1 minute from parking and you're walking in, and another minute you're in the habitat.
He
And
just told you his spots.
Oh, and I want to say, I tell every single person that asks me that spot, and here's why. Everybody says, oh, don't give away your spots. The truth is the more a place is hunted, the more those spores are distributed and the more mushrooms there will be there. And there are some years when my other hot spots I have don't have any, but that place will always have them. And that's where I have gotten 80% of that 150 pounds I talk about, right there.
And
all in a half-mile area, not big at all.
And was it you, Russ? I think when we talked for that article years ago, somebody, and I think it was you, said that as soon as you find one, you put your backpack down by it, and then you walk a circle?
Yep.
Is that?
Yeah.
And then, so you're likely to find more within what, like a 10 or 15 foot radius of that one?
Yeah, a lot of times they'll grow in a certain pattern. It takes a while to get your eye when you hunt them, but you'll see where usually one is coming up, there's going to be a few more around it. So if I put my bag down there, that stops me from just wandering off and just keep, looking aimlessly. And it brings me back to a spot where I found one, probably I'll find another one or two. So I'll typically do that as a trick and just work around the bag. But I've had some hunts where I literally get 500 feet from my bag, and I'm like, I need to go back and get the bag. Because you just keep finding them and keep going. Okay,
so other than poisonous mushrooms and sticks in the eye, are there other dangers people should think about, like pesticide, or what should people watch for?
I would say what I would really recommend is move slow in the forest. Don't jump on like an old log. You know, it could literally, a log this big, collapse and your foot go through it.
Or have snakes under it.
Yeah, that's it. And yeah, move slow, take your time, and you know, you get excited, when, especially if you see a big old clump of morels growing and you're like, yes, and it's under that gigantic log jam. There might be a snake. Although I don't think we have any real poisonous snakes in our area except for maybe the haybell rattler, which is not going to be in there, but you might still get bit. If you scare
Cottonmouth
one.
is poisonous.
Well, cottonmouth,
and
yeah.
rattlers, we have both.
Yeah, we don't have them in the river area, but the cottonmouth, she's right. I've never seen a cottonmouth when I've been out hunting.
Well, they're
Interesting.
sort of, they don't want to bite you.
Yeah.
If you bother them,
Yeah.
they might go after you,
Yeah.
but
take your time. If you see a snake, just turn around and go the other way.
And do you think about like leave no trace sorts of things? Do you have a
Absolutely.
philosophy like that you want to share?
That's my trash bag.
Oh, okay.
And
Bring it
I would, we do ethical harvesting. I always like to tell people to do ethical harvesting, which means don't tramp around too much. First of all, you might step on them. You know, look where you're going, be careful. Even, I don't know if you agree with this, don't take every single one. With morels, if you see some little babies, maybe an inch high, half an inch, don't take it. It'll get bigger. Someone else will get it tomorrow or the next day. But as far as dangers, of course, ticks. And so always wear long pants. Mosquitoes, bugs, spiders, wear long pants and a high boot if you have one, but just some sort of boot so you don't slip. And spray with DEET and permethrin. Do you use permethrin?
I don't use them anymore. I started off using them, but I'm more of a natural, just go out in my shorts and go careful. And when I get home, I do a full tick check in the mirror.
Take your pick.
Yeah.
Take your pick.
If you get a tick on you, you can look it up, the right way to remove a tick. And you just don't want to grab it and squeeze it. You want to use a blade or tick removal blade.
I just pull them off.
We'll have a tick removal event later this month. So I think it's real easy for people, especially people new to this, to get discouraged. What can you tell people so that, you know, if they go out next weekend, they don't think, okay, well, I'm never doing that again? I'm sure you have been discouraged lots of times.
I would say go out with people that know what they're doing. And I bet he'd take you out. No, I don't know.
Actually, she's
think you
right. I would. I've taken a lot of people out.
Mushroom people are very generous.
They are.
For the most part. Some of them are not. But anyway, don't get discouraged because, you know, you have to look at things like the ground temperature and some people say when the May-apples are a certain height, you know, these are all good signs that, not that they grow with the May-apples, but it's a good sign that it's the right time of year. And
When my asparagus come up, it's time to start going morel
there
hunting.
you go. There you go.
Okay, that's a good way to
That's
do
my
it.
barometer. I just happen to have a patch of
Okay.
asparagus. Yeah.
Okay, so I know we want to talk about other kinds of mushrooms too. So what I wonder every single time I go to Price Chopper is why are there always there's this variety right here for $3 for 8 ounces or whatever it is. Why is it always that one kind and what are those?
What are those?
I don't know.
Garricks?
It's just the ones that are always
The
there.
white button mushrooms?
Yeah, they're-
Yeah.
So why
Well,
those?
those are cultivated.
It's just easy?
No, I mean, but there are companies that cultivate them, and that's what they do.
And the,
But is there some
the
reason-
portobello
Yeah.
is the same species. They used to throw them out years ago and
When
just
it
give
got
you the
too
white
big.
ones. And then they learned, well, let's just let the big brown ones grow out and we'll call them portobellos. So.
Oh, okay.
But it is, I think it's called an agaric.
Agaricus campestris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But
The Latin binomial expert.
so, but there are mushrooms that can be cultivated, which is what you find in the grocery stores. And now they're cultivating oysters and lion's mane
Yeah.
and a lot of other
Shiitakes,
ones.
those in
I
here.
think.
Shiitakes.
Here, hold on. We've got oysters.
Oyster, yeah.
Okay,
Those
those
are
are the
oysters.
oysters. We've got lion's mane.
Yeah.
I don't think I would touch that. If
Oh,
I
yeah.
saw that in
That's
the
a
woods.
succulent, very good.
Succulent.
Okay.
Yeah, very good mushroom.
word. They're fabulous and they're healthy.
Yeah.
They're good for your immune system. But some mushrooms, including morels, cannot be cultivated.
Yep.
Some people say morels can be cultivated, but you get a different species and they're like this big and they don't taste the same.
Okay.
And so a lot of edible mushrooms that you find out in the woods are not cultivated, cannot be cultivated.
I'm listening to the microphone squeal. Okay, that's not us. So are there, before we get into talking about your favorites, I also have wondered with mushrooms if there's anything important about their terroir, you know, like with wines, that this grape tastes different here than it does over here. Do mushrooms do that too, or does it not work the same with the fungi?
Well, if they do, it would probably be a different species.
Okay.
Because with DNA testing, we're finding so many species. There are so many species of morchella now. I'm not sure if
Yeah.
you know that, but
Yeah.
and so many species of different. So if I find a morel or a chicken of the woods here, it might not be the same species as the one I find in Colorado.
Good.
Okay, so would it taste the same or a different
It might
species?
taste similar. Yes,
Okay.
the same.
Okay.
Basically the same.
Okay.
That's one thing we should mention. If you are hunting nearby a road, right off the road, bad idea to eat anything there because mushrooms are excellent detoxification species for cleaning up lead that came out of the pipe of cars up until 30, 40 years ago and other things. So don't hunt around a toxic dump site or an old mine where you have a lot of phosphorus or things like that.
Or even golf.
Yeah, I would not eat a mushroom off a golf course
golf
because they're
course.
using the chemical
Yeah,
fertilizers
yeah.
that, you know, you could ingest. So,
Okay,
yeah,
good tip.
stick to the real woods or your backyard as long as you don't use too much poison on it.
Okay, and so Maxine, your book includes, I think you mentioned in your book that Missouri has something like 4,000 mushroom varieties.
I don't think Missouri does.
Okay.
But we have a lot.
Okay,
And
but
so
you
many of
include
them-
100 in your book anyway,
Oh,
right?
yeah, that's just 100 in there.
Right,
Yeah.
so why,
Those are common.
okay, so you included them because they're so common?
Common mushrooms, yeah, that's,
Okay.
yeah. Missouri's Wild Mushrooms is the name of the book, and I had to choose which ones were common and
Sure.
which ones we can find.
Okay,
There's still plenty that haven't even been named that are out there
okay,
too.
okay.
It's a new science.
And
Still?
it changed when it went from identifying them with the spore prints and all that to when they finally got the
DNA.
DNA testing. That shocked everybody because all the books ended up being half wrong on the species. So
Oh, wow.
The
they're
names of the
rewriting them.
species, yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Huh, okay. Okay, so,
Just like, I don't think you knew this, but Morchella esculenta is now Morchella americana.
I did not know that.
Uh-huh.
Who's
Write
the
that
morel
down.
expert around here?
We don't have esculenta here.
okay, so Maxine, tell us about your favorites now. You've got chanterelle earrings on.
I have chanterelle earrings
Okay.
on, and I have to say, this is my favorite. I do love morels, but I'm not a good morel hunter. These are easy to find. And so, yeah, they taste really good. And you can pick these, and they don't grow one at a time. Well, they do, but they often grow in like a grove or an area. If you see one, there'll be lots of them. And they do like our oak hickory forests. And they have an odor. Some people say they sort of smell like apricots. And they taste, they're a little firm. People often will say, oh, I don't like the texture of mushrooms. Every mushroom has a different texture. Morels have a totally different texture.
My wife will not eat a mushroom. She
Not
picks them
even
out
morels?
of the mushroom soup, you know, when I cook with it. Yeah, anything, hates it.
Not even morels?
Loves morels.
Oh, okay.
So she won't
Okay.
touch another mushroom, but she will eat a morel.
So this is yummy.
Okay, you like those.
I love that.
Very
You can
tasty.
find those in July, I think you said, right?
in July when it's hot, July,
Okay.
August, and I know we're kind of want to move on, but I have to tell you something wonderful about this mushroom. A group of us from MOMS, that's what we call Missouri Mycological Society, found a lovely state representative, and she has been helping us get a bill. And so we got a bill to make this as our state mushroom. It's not done yet. It's not done yet.
Don't clap.
Yeah, no. But this is the smooth chanterelle. You can see it's kind of smooth on the underside, or the Cantharellus latericius. And there were about 15 of us and 4 children. We all went down to Jefferson City and talked to the committee, and we each had our script that we wrote, or I helped some people write, and the kids wrote their own. 4 kids, ages 7 to 14. And we're gonna find out the end of April, but it's looking good. So keep your eyes and ears out.
The cover to the original field guide to Kansas mushroom hunting has a picture of one of the authors eating one of these laying back on a bench, shot in 1987. They went to a park in Neosho Falls, Kansas. It was just a little public park, and it had completely gone underwater for a few weeks. They had a major flood, and when it went down, they said that they drove up that day and they were filling full-size paper sacks from the store with these, and they just had like 100 pounds, and everybody in town came out, and it was just this massive batch. And they go back every year and look for them, and they haven't seen one since.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've been down with them 3 times looking.
And maybe they were overpicked.
Okay.
Possibly,
We can go on, yeah.
So Maxine, you also like this, and you can find those April through September.
Chicken of the woods. And this one, did I send you a picture of the pink one that's very similar?
No, just this one.
The hen?
So there
I
are
think.
2, no, there are 2 different, this is chicken of the woods, and this has got an orange top, and it's sort of sulfur colored on the underside. This grows on the side of trees or downed logs. There's also one that's called the Cincinnatus, Latericius cincinnatus. And that looks like it's growing on the ground, but it's really on buried roots. And it's kind of pinkish on the top and white on the underside. They are both delicious. Really yummy, yummy.
And where do these, or what kind of tree does this
They
like?
like oak trees,
Oak also?
and we have a lot of oaks.
Okay.
I
And
think
there's this one that you
elm or
like.
birch also, they're good. That's where one that I watched every other year
Okay.
for 10 years grow in the base. I always got there when it was already deliquesced and old.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's hen of the woods for
So
the fall.
this is a hen of the woods, which is a fall mushroom. And it can be that brownish color, it can be blackish, it can be tannish on the top. And on the underside of each one of those fronds, we call them fronds, it's white. And these are so good. And they can be really big, really big. And, but they aren't always. And they're hard to see. They're not hard to find, but they're hard to see because they grow under an oak tree in the fall. So you can see why they're hard to see because of the leaves.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're so good, and you can do so much with them. And I've made mushroom jerky and wonderful mushroom soup.
Maxine's book has recipes in it too.
Yeah.
Okay, well, before we get to audience Q&A in a second here, I wondered if, and I don't know anything about this, I haven't researched it, so I'm really asking, are mushrooms any sort of like ecological canary in the coal mine for something? Like if mushrooms aren't present, does it tell us something is out of whack?
Well, I can't say that issue is correct, but one that's really close. If we didn't have mushrooms, the tree that fell 4,000 years ago would still be there, because mushrooms are decomposers, and they decompose the bark and the trees once they die. Termites and mushrooms. And they do a lot of other good things, like you were talking about how they absorb pesticides and oils and nasty things that we don't want, but they do absorb them.
There's some studies where they've used mushrooms on hazmat sites purposefully.
Yeah.
And there was one I read where they were trying all different techniques available, and in that particular one, I can't remember, it might have been oysters.
It was oyster.
Yeah, that just blew everything else out of the water, but you don't want to eat that oyster mushroom. But if you do get a good fresh one out of the woods, I highly suggest putting it in your marinara sauce with your spaghetti.
Okay. All right. So if anybody has a question, please come up to one of the mics so people at home can hear you also. And make sure that whatever you say ends in a question mark. That's our request.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Request, you make a request.
Hello. So I've done some plant foraging, and I know there's often advice when you're foraging for plants to not take everything. And I'm curious if there's similar concerns about sustainability when foraging for mushrooms.
From my point of view, I don't know if there's anything written, but you really shouldn't take everything that's there. There's a mushroom called the black trumpet. Happens to be delicious, happens to be very small. And one year there was a group of us, and we found this hillside of black trumpets, and we were all taking. We went back every year after that, and there were none there. So do I know if that's because we took too many? I would say don't take everything. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On my successful forages, I found myself sometimes hesitant to eat what I've gotten, mainly because of creepy crawlies. Do you have any advice there?
That might be the time you wash a morel. Typically, you want to slice it down the middle, and when you open it up, about 1 out of 30, especially later in the season, will have a slug in the middle. So you knock it out. You can rinse it if you really have to. Dry it off good. But yeah, I mean, sometimes you're just going to eat a little tiny bug in a morel. It's going to happen. They're good for you.
But you cook it.
Yeah, cook it. Yeah, I don't eat raw morels, but yeah, that's always good to check.
Why is it a bad idea to wash them?
I wash them, you don't. So
okay.
I think
Go.
from
If you've
what I
got some
remember
at home.
reading, the idea is you don't want to soak the mushroom in water. Because you're probably going to cook with it if it's an edible, and you want it to soak up butter instead of water, so it just keeps things tidy. But I think there's quite a few people just in the years I've talked to say never wash a mushroom, brush it. I think you'll find cookbooks that will tell you that.
Okay.
on the other hand, there are some old timers and some not so old timers that soak morels in salt water. No. No.
If
Why? What
you're going to
happens?
fry them,
Okay.
the old traditional milk bath and dip it in the flour, then that would be fine, I think, because you're pre-salting them.
Well, okay.
But I wouldn't do it.
Why is that a no-no?
I think it's a no-no because mushrooms are already 50-80% water.
Okay.
You don't want to put more water in.
Right.
And why put salt in something you're going to cook with when you can add your salt if you need it? Morels are so tasty. They need very little seasoning. But I'm going to tell you one thing that I do. I do wash morels, and that's because I do cut them down, like you say, from top to bottom. By the way, we haven't mentioned that morels are hollow inside.
I have.
Did you?
Yeah, Russ said it.
Oh, good. They're all hollow, and that's a good identifying factor. But I always like to see if there's a slug or a little insect, or sometimes there are these little fly things, and so I do like to.
I use a brush and brush them after I slice them in half, and you can really brush it pretty hard.
Yeah.
Especially if they're not too old.
Yeah.
and they'll hold together pretty good. A great way also, if you do get a surplus and you can't eat them all fresh, you can always freeze dry them, or you can take an old screen and just lay them on the screen in a room that's got airflow, and it'll dry out in 5 or 6 days, and they store pretty good, like the ones in your jar back there.
Well, I dehydrate them.
Did you?
I have a
Yeah.
dehydrator.
But the other thing you can do is I take like 5 sticks of butter, put it in the pan, and just keep rolling those morels in there. And when I'm done, I will take and bag the morels in butter, zip them up tight, no air, and freeze them. Because butter freezes and stays good a long time, unlike meat, which will get freezer burn. Fat and butter will actually stay in a freezer for years.
Yeah.
And still be very useful and edible. And that's one great way to save a big batch of morels if you can't eat them.
Who else has something?
So on one of our successful foraging adventures, we actually found a down log that was absolutely covered in golden oysters. Now, I
Oh,
know they
God.
are an invasive
Yes.
mushroom, so we picked as much as we can, but do you have any advice? Should we notify anyone if we find something like that, or any way to help mitigate that?
So many of you don't know that we now have an invasive mushroom, and it is the golden oyster. So that's a good thing to bring up. They happen to be edible. So as you said, they took them all and they ate them. Well, they're pretty good, but they are taking over. And so they're in places like invasive plants. You know, they're taking over in places that other mushrooms or other things might grow. So no, we don't have a hotline yet. I mean, this is new within the last year or two or three. And so if you see something that looks like an oyster mushroom and it's bright yellow, just take everything, get rid of it. Yeah, I don't
Trying
have
to find the oyster mushrooms again, so
but I
there
don't
it
have a
is.
picture of the yellow.
Right, but we'll picture this. We'll imagine it yellow.
Do they have
Okay,
this?
that's what they look like.
Does this invasive oyster taste and smell like the original? Do you know?
No, but it tastes darn good.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay. I'm going hunting.
yeah.
Got another question?
And of course, we are encouraging you to take all of them, so.
Hi.
Hi.
I see a lot of advertisements for supplements and coffees and, mushroom teas and mixes. Do you have any comments on that?
I'm a Paul Stamets fan.
Paul Stamets?
Paul Stamets.
Stamets?
Yeah, Paul is using what's called the Stamets stack, where he's using lion's mane with just a wee bit of the
Turkey tail.
yeah, maybe, but
Bravo.
the psychedelic stuff too.
Psilocybin.
Well, there's a lot, yeah, psilocybin. There's actually people that are coding and working with microdosing that Stamets stack. He uses niacin to basically, when you put it down, to take it all the way through your system to where you get a niacin flush and it pushes it out. He's worth looking into, and he's also got a line of pills that you can get that are all derivatives of different mushrooms. But he's a great person online
Yes,
to hear
he
his
is.
story about how he actually healed himself using mushrooms early in life by accident.
Healed his mother-in-law. Anyway, but there are lots of companies out there that are doing the same. And, like I showed you that Beard's Tooth. I mean,
Lion's mane?
Lion's mane, thank you.
Lion's
I do Latin names. But anyway, and that's really supposed to be good for your memory and for your immune system.
I take it every day and have
Do
for
you?
10 years, yeah.
A pill?
I get the good stuff from typically India.
Yeah.
That's certified, lab certified powder, and I just spoon it. And I do about 6 or 7 herbs all in just one big thing, shake it up and just throw them down.
Cool.
Yeah.
But then there's turkey tails and there's other mushrooms that are, and hen of the woods, and that are supposed to have lot of health benefits. And I'm not an expert on the vitamins and minerals and exactly what they are supposed to do. Don't forget they're supplements and they haven't been approved by the FDA. But yeah, a lot of people do.
Okay, so I know not to eat something if you're not familiar or sure of its identification, but I have an older sort of mentor for mushrooms, and he has said, generally, if it grows on a tree, it's edible, and if it grows in the ground, to avoid it. Is
Bullshit.
That, okay. There you go. I know you said there's no rule of thumb, so I was like,
There are no rule of thumbs.
okay.
He's
Rules of
mostly
thumb.
right, but it's at one time you're wrong.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've heard this one before, but there's a saying, there's no old
Mushroom hunters.
mushroom hunters.
There's no bold
mushroom hunters.
No, there are.
Old mushroom
There are old mushroom hunters.
Yeah, you got me going the wrong way there.
There are old, bold mushroom hunters, but there are no old, bold
Old and bold.
mushroom
Yeah,
hunters.
that's, we blew it.
Sorry, I think I blew it.
You're okay.
I read something about an ammonia field test. Is there something about, like, if you're really scared, you can take an ammonia dropper and put it on something and get a reaction, and that tells you if they're, no? Okay, also bullshit.
No, you really have to know the mushrooms, and if you're not sure, and you really think it's like a chanterelle, but you're just not positive, because pictures don't quite do it. Pictures in a book. Take a photo of the top, the side, from the side, where it is, where it's growing, cut it down the middle, what it looks like in the middle, and on our website, Missouri Mycological Society, there's a click that has experts, and you can send it to any of us.
And you can take a spore print and get a field guide that gives you the detailed info on it to at least know you're in the ballpark. And if you have a microscope, it's great for looking at spores too. Some of the guides will actually have the pictures of the spores and the size as well. I have the microscope.
Okay. Okay, we'll take one last question and then we'll say goodnight and you can talk to them for a minute afterward if you need to.
Happy to.
So mine is really just kind of a fun question, but to make the smooth chanterelle the state mushroom, I was just curious as to like why that specific mushroom.
Oh, I have all kinds of answers for you because we just gave this presentation in Jeff City. First of all, it's very common. Second of all, it's delicious. Third of all, it's easy to find because of the color. We have other chanterelles here in Missouri, but that one is the most common. You know, I could probably take you out in July and we could find some chanterelles, and then you would know what chanterelles look like.
And they like oaks, you said?
They do.
Yeah, we don't have that where I'm at out in Kansas, so we
Really?
don't see them. Well, there's very few, but no,
Oaks?
we don't have oaks, no.
Okay.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
And I like your Trader Joe's t-shirt.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Russ and Maxine, for being with us tonight.